A lot of games have the word dark in the title, but for the most part it's completely meaningless. The darkness is just about a murderous arsehole getting violent magic powers, and I once played Dark Chronicle for about 80 hours, but fuck me if I can actually remember what the Dark Chronicle itself even was. Basically, dark stuff in video games generally either involves being incredibly violent, or it's just this sort of vague implication that something's a bit sinister and unpleasant. And then Dark Souls happened. Dark Souls is a game that slowly worms its way into your heart, not just by being relentlessly and punishingly difficult, but by throwing you into this rich, unfathomable world whose history you only learn through picking up on this huge web of easily missed clues. These range from snippets of dialogue from other characters all the way down to reading the little in-game descriptions of items you've picked up. And yet, while you'll attempt to piece these clues together in a bid to make sense of what's going on around you, everything you learn about the world only leaves you feeling desperately sad. You're in a world that's coming to its natural end, and you're surrounded by the problems caused by people who can't accept that. In general, the game does its best to make you feel really hopeless and isolated, so it's no wonder that it's got a funny way of bringing people together. Not just because of the way that you can draw other players into your game to help you out, but because of the fact that very few people make it through the game without some kind of external support network. Whether they're like obsessively studying online guides, watching YouTube videos, or just harassing their friends constantly for advice, Dark Souls players often seek each other out for guidance and support. It's not that the game's scary or anything, it's just that your repeated failure to traverse a certain area or kill a certain enemy has a way of battering your spirit and robbing you of hope. The fact that you frequently see other characters in the game doing the exact same thing as you and eventually losing their minds certainly doesn't help. It's a game that'll repeatedly make you want to give up and never play it again. But you realise that if you give up, then so does your character, and that means he goes insane like everyone else. And you realise that you understand what darkness is now, because it's the very thing you're trying to avoid by giving up on Dark Souls.